We all have a story, we all have a tale. Well, there's a place I've come to know well, led by a man named Sty. He's full of stories, he is quite a guy. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty, he's quite the guy. If you're feeling lonely, come and make a friend. If you need a story, on Sty you can depend. His voice is soothing like a lullaby. Sometimes he brings a tear to my eye. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty, he's quite a guy.
Well, welcome everybody. Sty Story Sunday. Yep. Hope we have a fun night tonight. Right away, I want to shout out the participants that are over in the chat right away. We got Arcade, we got Crazy Ann, we got Freeman James, we got Get Her Done Granny, we got Kimberly Ferris, of course, and we've got Nicole Lee. I can't pronounce it with the darn. Rain Dancer and Samantha Lee's Originals all hanging out in the chat. Hey, it's great to see y'all. Yep, another Sty Story Sunday. Now I got a pretty full basement. I'm going to pull these folks up right away. There's Samantha. Oh, she's just fixing her hair, and Sty pulls her up there. Oh, you're doing good tonight, aren't you?
Busted, yeah.
Pretty good. Good enough, right? Yeah. And we got Crazy Ann. Busted. I saw you down there. She's got one fly that keeps driving her nuts, and she's down in the basement swatting at that fly while I'm watching her. Yep. You'll get them before the night's over. And we got Get Her Done Granny.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy. Yeah. Get Her Done Granny. It's been fighting rain and hail all day today. What the hail, huh?
Yes, what the hell?
And we got this fella. Hey, he's my brother. He's my brother from another mother. There he is. Yeah.
Granny fighting rain and hail. Who's winning? I got a feeling Granny is.
Yeah. If you were to
be had, she's winning.
Yep. I just kicked back and ignored it.
My money's on her.
Yep. Hey, Bradley, good to see ya. Computer chick, hi. Nice and sunny there. Hunt for heat. Is it a fly or a bird chasing after Crazy Ann? Yeah, right. Yeah. If she still had the bird in the house, it might eat that fly.
Yeah.
I got to watch that video, Phil, and that was great. The only problem is I had to go back to the actual stream to get a good look at your reaction. That was to die for, because you fixed that in the video. You spread that, you zoomed in so that we couldn't see your full reaction. Hiding, he was hiding.
Hey, I figured we're talking about Ann here, not me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but I'll tell you what.
You're a pussy.
I'll tell you what. That was priceless. Your reaction. Hey, Angel Munez is in the house. Good to see you, Angel.
What's up, Angel?
Wheel Life, Tim. Great to see you. Yeah, we let folks mosey on in until about quarter after the hour. Then I'll do the Sty story. I'm sorry, folks, but I couldn't think of a different title for the story tonight other than the birds and the bees. No, we're not. No, we're not going there.
I'm out of here.
He's out of here. See, that's it. I figured it'll be clickbait. A bunch of people show up, find out the story's not about that. And they'll go, phooey, we're leaving. That ain't no fun. Phil, you and I, we've already had the birds and the bees talk. You don't know.
Kinda, yeah. Unfortunately, I got it after my sixth child. Then really realized what the hell was causing all that crap.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
thought it was in the water.
I'll tell you what. My ex-wife, she said, I'm done after the third one. She says, that's it. I'm done. I said, well, that's good. That's good. I'm all for that. So we took every possible precaution. Guess what? A fourth one all of a sudden was on its way. And I told her, I said, yeah, there's this test that's going to happen after that kid's born. Because I tell you what, I made sure all bases were covered. There's no way that we're having a kid. Oh, yeah, there's a fourth one coming. And, yeah, that damn kid was born looking just like my side of the family. Yeah, dang it. And, she kept telling me I should get fixed. That doctor told her, he says, well, your last three, you've had one every year for the last 3 years. He says, yeah, guess how many kids that's going to be by the time you're 35? She said, I want my tubes tied before I leave this hospital. So that took it off of my back, Yeah. Hey, Chowser, good to see you. Don't watch this, and we would still be here. Yeah. Actually, if I put in the description, you probably don't want to hear this story, I'd fill the house, Everybody'd show up, Boy, if it's coming out of him and we don't want to hear it, it's going to be a good one. Yeah, Rain Dancer. It was 47 degrees yesterday. Saturday is supposed to be 80. See, that's what we've had now. For the last 3 days, it's been in the upper 50s, low 60s as a high. And now it's going up into the 80s the rest of the week. We had one day a week ago, the day before, it reached like 67 degrees. And the day after this day, it only reached 62 degrees. But that one day, it hit 96 degrees. One day, just super hot single day. That was weird. Johnny Bravo, WH Outdoors. Good to see you guys. Johnny saying birds and bees, huh? Who found a bee's nest in their truck and who had a bird's nest in the engine compartment? Well, all right. There you go, Johnny. That's what that story is going to be about, is when I was driving truck over the road, it's going to be a series of tiny little stories of bird and bee incidents when I was driving truck over the road. Now, some of you are going to go, ew, with some of the stories. Some of those little stories are kind of yick. Some of them, yeah, that's pretty damn funny. So I'm hoping you'll enjoy them tonight. Hey, share it out. There's another 5 minutes yet before I'm going to hit that Sty story. So share it on out. Get your friends on over here and let the world know we're going to be telling stories tonight. Then we're going to be having a nice general chat after the fact. Because I'm sure there's going to be some people that can relate. That can relate. They'll have their own bee or bird stories, and I just had a bee story, or her and Phil just had a bird story in less than 24 hours. Just last night.
Well, you know that little video I sent out?
Eileen, hello. Yes, that little video he sent out.
I'm working on it.
Are you?
For, maybe a week from now or something. We're going to, add
Let
some
the rest of the
special
world
effects and,
Yeah.
different things. So,
And then let the rest of the world see it.
well, you guys got the uncut version, or kind of cut
Right.
up and not edited or anything. I just cut the boring stuff out. All this new one.
It is so good to see you, Eileen. And anything that you're going through, you got my prayers. You got my prayers. I hope everything works out for you. It is so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I've been wondering. Yeah. Eileen Ballou is in the house. And there's running water. We've got running water at the Sty Shack. Sometimes.
It's funny. I hadn't seen Eileen in a while. I hope she's okay.
Yeah. I was just getting at that point of wondering. Starting to wonder. And it's so good to see her. Work on a frozen reaper bee. Huh.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Eileen.
Oh, yeah. Man, oh, man. There's a few folks in that fix right now. I know several folks that are trying to sort out some financial issues. And, financial issues are always tough. They're always
toughest ones, man.
That's when you know certain things have to be done and there's a dollar attached to it. Oh, that can be so tough and so stressful.
I got my money.
Oh, thank you, Rain Dancer. That's true. Yeah, prayers should be pretty general to all those folks we know that are struggling. And yeah, the COVID, there's a lot of folks that hurt pretty bad. I know 3 people personally that they're business owners and they had to shut down. Well, they don't get unemployment. They're a sole proprietor. They don't get unemployment. So, and their businesses put food on their table and didn't just pay their few employees, but it also put food on their table. And yeah, they're strapping. Yeah. Pay for my kitchen remodeling myself, and my AC just completely quit on me. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Well, folks, it's that time, I think. We're gonna we're going to put everybody over to the side here. There they are. And we're going to jump into the Sty story for tonight. Birds and the bees. Well, okay. Back in the late 70s and right up until about the end of 1982, I was driving over the road truck for a few of those years, and a lot of weird things happen out on the road. It's just a given. A lot of weird things happen to truck drivers. Well, the company I worked for, it was the type of deal where they said, well, you can drive because they had two divisions. They had what they called company drivers, and then they had what they called a limited, it was a limited liability corporation sub group of truckers. And we didn't haul just that company's products. We hauled anything. Well, I was in that subdivision. And the deal there is, yeah, you made pretty good money working for that division, but in any given year, you were required for 3 months out of each year to take new drivers out with you, new hires. Well, it sounded okay because you as the senior driver got paid for every mile that truck ran while you had that trainee with you. The trainee, they got half that rate. Okay? So it sounded like a good deal. You didn't take a cut and pay, but you're getting extra miles because you got an extra driver in the truck. So it's like getting overtime. Well, I found out I talked the company into letting me drive for them for 6 months before I had to even think of taking a trainee out. And they agreed. So I was out there beating the payment for 6 months. And then my first trainee came on board. Well, I had pretty well gotten to know my truck pretty good by the end of 6 months. You know, you're living in the damn thing all the time. And, you know, I found out these trainees, there's things that they just don't realize can happen. And this one trainee, my first one, he gets on board and I'm driving a cab over Freightliner. And it had these big wing windows that, you know, that you had your regular window and you had a wing window, and then you could swing that wing window open. And this guy kept swinging that wing window open so that air is just hitting him right in the face, right? Well, my truck's air conditioned. And I told him, shut the dang window. I got the air conditioning on. You don't need that window wide open like that. Just crack it open a little bit and let it pull air out, but not blow into the truck, that hot air into the truck. Well, I got him to close that wing window. And I said, plus it's not safe having that wing window open like that. And he goes, why? And I said, critters, I mean, bees and bugs and everything get sucked right in, and they're getting blown right in your face, you dope. It's like riding a motorcycle without a windshield or a helmet. So he opens his passenger window, rolls it all the way down. And I said, that's not smart either. I said, you should keep that window up. And he goes, why? And I said, I wouldn't stick my arm out that window. I said, your arm's going to be covered with nothing but bug guts. I said, you need to close that window. He goes, he says, I've had it open for 15 minutes and nothing's come in here. I said, you wait. When something does come in there, you're going to hear, I told you so, for the next 3 weeks out here on the road. I no more than said that. And I noticed on the right-hand side of the road, there's a half a dozen pigeons, right? Now I'm doing 65 miles an hour on this highway, and there's a bunch of pigeons on the side. And before I could say boot, those pigeons took off right in front of the truck. Well, 5 of them, they got out of there okay. One of them got rear-ended by the mirror on the passenger side. His tail feathers went right between the mirror and the big rails that hold the mirror on. He just fit in there, and his wings kind of caught. Well, everything came out of the pigeon's butt right into my new driver's face. He was really mad at me because I just kept saying, I told you so. Every time he'd say something, I go, I told you so. I told you. I must have said, I told you so 600 times. He's over there hanging his head out the window, barfing because he's got pigeon poop and everything inside the pigeon is on his face. He turns around and blames me. He said, if you had that mirror mounted properly, that pigeon would have never ended up in my face. So he blamed me. You would have thought he had learned a lesson. Well, he went back to using the wing window again, and he kept cranking it the wrong direction. And I told him, don't do it. You're going to end up with another bird in your lap. And he says, oh, God, no. He says, I'm keeping my eyes open. And I watched him, and he's sitting there with a can of Coke. And I heard a smack. And I looked over, and this big wasp is on the top of his pop can. And he realized I was staring at him, and he goes, what? And there he goes, before I could say anything. All of a sudden, he's screaming, and the pop's flying all over, and he's spitting, and all of a sudden, he's talking with a big tongue. He got stung right in the tongue by that big wasp on top of his pop can. That boy, he just wasn't learning. He wasn't learning. Now, I had the same thing happen. I'm driving down the interstate, but I'm driving alone. I don't have a team driver with me. And I just had the driver's window open about 2 inches. And I thought I heard something smack, like a tap sound. I'm sitting there with a Mountain Dew, and I go and I take a slam of it, and it's got a yellow jacket on the can. Goes right in my mouth, and now, they're not bees, so they can sting you all the times they want. And he's nailing me about 5 times in the mouth while I'm driving down the interstate. Yeah, that big rig was all over that road. I couldn't see. My whole face was blurring up. I barely got off on the shoulder, and it took a couple hours for all the swelling to go down enough where I felt I was safe to drive again. One tiny little bee put that 80,000-pound rig off the side of the road. That's all it took, was one little bee. There's another incident where I was driving through Pennsylvania. Now, this is the dangest thing. I'm driving through Pennsylvania, and I didn't realize what was going on at first. It was like all of a sudden a big cloud went over the sun. It got shaded just real fast. And I thought, why the heck did it get dark like that? And then next thing I know, all I hear was boom, 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 boom. And I mean, it went on for seconds and seconds. That's when I realized, after it quit, that's when I realized it was a big flock of these little birds. And they flew across the interstate, across the highway, right in front of my truck. I pulled into this like a rest stop area, and there was another driver in there, and he saw me pulling in, and he's standing on the sidewalk. I parked the truck, and he walks over and he goes, oh my God, you know what's on the front of your truck? I said, it's not just on the front of my truck. I had this windshield visor type thing on the outside of my truck. Up underneath that was packed full of those little birds. It was just packed full of them. But the whole front of the truck, the grill, this guy, and he's probably right. He figured, because I'm out there picking birds out of the grill. He said there was at least 200 birds in that grill. The truck was overheating right away. because no air could get through the front grill. There was that many of those little birds stuck in the front end of my truck. Tiny little birds. Again, 80,000-pound rig can't go down the road because of a little bird. Another bee story. I pull into this wayside rest with my truck, and I parked, and just next to me, they parked kind of at an angle to each other, so the next cab is just a little bit behind you. You know, the trucks are kind of offset. And as I pull in there, notice there's a cab over next to me, and I pulled in and parked, and I rolled my window down. I'm going to have a smoke and do my logbooks, and all of a sudden I heard this guy screaming bloody murder. Screaming bloody murder. And I looked over in that truck. I thought, God, somebody's killing him over there. And here he comes flying out of that truck. And he's running across the parking lot, and he's swatting like this. I thought, what in the hell is he doing? I get out of my truck, and he's yelling. He turns around and starts yelling at me, run, run. I thought, run from what? What are you talking about? And I started walking away. Then I realized out the driver's door, tons of bees coming out of his truck. He says, there's a great big paper wasp nest in the sleeper of my truck. I said, you gotta be kidding. He goes, no. And I walked around, and I could look through the windshield, and I could see that paper wasp nest. He had a overhead light in his sleeper, and they had built that nest from that light, and that paper wasp nest was as big around as a basketball. And I said, how could you go down the road and not know that damn thing was in your truck? He says, it's not my truck. He says, my truck broke down, and they told me to take this tractor to make this quick run, and by the time I get back, my truck would be ready. And he said, I was driving down the highway, everything was fine. I pulled in here, and he said, and I got a briefcase that I take with me with all my logbooks and paperwork. And he says, all I did was turn around, open the tarp to the sleeper, and I threw the briefcase back there, and I must have hit that nest. And he says, because they all come pouring into the cab. There you go. A little bee put that big truck out of service. The most unique one I ever saw, though, was I pulled into a truck stop. And here's a guy with this big cab over Peterbilt. And right in the center, the windshield split. It's like two windshields. There's just a small strip between the two of them. But right in the center of the two windshields, right up towards the top of the windshield, there's a pheasant. And its wings are out. It was a really pretty ringneck pheasant. And it's just kind of looking down at the parking lot. And I'm walking by and I'm going, well, that's unusual. That's quite the hood ornament kind of deal there. Here comes this driver walking around the corner of that truck, and he goes, oh, you see that, huh? I said, that's pretty cool. He goes, that ain't cool. He says, come here and look at it. And he opened his driver's door, and I looked up there. Well, he rear-ended that pheasant, and it went through where the two windshields joined, broke both windshields, but it broke a perfect hole, and that pheasant went right through there, and it got rear-ended by the guy's CB radio. The CB radio is the only thing that kept that pheasant from ended up in this guy's sleeper. I said, how fast were you going that you could rear-end a pheasant hard enough to put him all the way through your windshield like that? He goes, well, we're not talking about that. And right after that, here comes the squad car pulling in because he had to call because his company said, you need a police report for our insurance. Cop pulled in. Cop looked at it. First thing the cop says to him is, I want to know how fast you were going that you could rear end a pheasant and have them go all the way through your windshield like that. That's a question the guy refused to answer for some reason. I wonder why. Now, I've had birds bounce off of my windshield, but I've never had one come all the way through like that. But no, he had the fanciest pheasant hood ornament you ever seen hanging off the front of his truck there. The pheasant didn't look hurt. It actually looked like it was a stuffed pheasant, something fake. No, it was a real pheasant. It went right through his windshield. Yep. Yeah. Oh, Nicole says, admit nothing. Yes, that's true. That's true. No, I don't know. I don't know how that bird got there. Yeah. But those, and I could go on and on about bees and birds and vehicles. Now, I saw it mentioned earlier tonight, bird nests on top of your manifold on your motor. I've had that. I've popped my hood up and gone, oh, geez, there's a bird nest on top of my truck engine. Bees. I had a couple of vehicles that I used maybe once or twice in the summer when we had a farm, and I'd get in the damn vehicle and start driving. All of a sudden, bees are coming out from underneath the seat. Stinking hornets would make nests under the seat of a truck that's parked for a long time without anybody using it. So, yeah. And the reason I pulled this one off the Sty Story list to do tonight is because yesterday I was driving out to Walmart, and one of the biggest, fattest bumblebees I've seen in a long time smacked me on the side of the head. Boom. Now, all my windows are closed. I got the air conditioner going, and I felt that, and I thought, what was that? And then I heard the brrr past my ear, and he come around the other side, and he landed on my dash facing me, and he kept going brrr, 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 like that, like a warning. I thought, you devil. My nice truck. No bees are allowed in it. No birds, no mice, nothing like that. No. I don't let many people in my truck. But then all of a sudden, all of these bee incidents started flashing back. And I thought, doggone it, that's on the Sty Story list. So we're going to do that one tomorrow night. That's all it got here. So there you go. There's your lesson about the birds and the bees. When you get birds and bees and big trucks together, now you're fucked. Oh, sorry. I told you it wasn't that kind of birds and bees. Oh, well. Crap happens, right? Uh-huh. Anne's nodding her head. Crap happens. There you go. There's your Sty Story for the night.
Oh, God.
I gotta imagine if you drive a car, you got some bird and or bee story, right?
Oh yeah, I can't believe that anybody that's done any kind of amount of traveling, if they're 30 years old, even as a passenger, if they've never driven, had to have experienced something with
Yeah, I mean, a truck driver would have a
a
lot
bug
more.
or a bee,
Truck driver should have a lot more, right? You're not only do you have your own stories, but you have, like you said, the pheasant story with the fellow truck driver where he's got that thing temporarily mounted in his windshield. Holy mackerel!
Well, and that was the thing is the cop told him, you really need to get that out of there because we're not going to let you drive that truck down the road with that bird hanging out the windshield. And the guy went up there and he's trying to pull that pheasant out, and it's pulling both windshield panels away from the truck. The guy says to the officer, he says, I can't pull the bird out. It's going to pull the windshields out. And the officer said, well, what makes you think they're going to stay there if you're driving? And he says, wind pressure against those windshields will keep them in place. He says, as long as I don't open the windows and get any reverse pressure against them, they should stay in place till I can, because there was no place he could get that truck in a truck dealership to
Sure.
get the windshields replaced, except it was about 80 miles down the road from there. And finally the cop said, well, okay, you and your pheasant get on the road and I'll follow you for about half the way, he said. But yeah, it's such odd things. The Charles, you're saying it's terrible of me that I actually try to hit pigeons on purpose. I hate to go there, but there's a lot of people like you out there, Charles, that don't feel alone. I've got a buddy, you'll be riding with him, you're talking, and you're not really paying attention. All of a sudden, you feel the rig just jerk, and you go, what was that? Squirrel. You know, you shouldn't be trying to dodge squirrels like that. I wasn't trying to dodge them, I'm trying to run them over.
Oh, my God.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't want to ride with you.
No.
Yeah.
No, I rear-ended a car when I was young because a bee flew in the window. Just as I'm coming up, a couple cars, probably doing 35, coming up to a stoplight. Cars, again, 2-3 deep, already stopped and whatnot. Bee flies in, boom, right down in my lap, right down in my crotch.
Oh.
So the first thing I do is kind of get up to where, but then again, that takes my foot away from like the gas and the brake because I was already slowing down. And sure enough, boom, I rear-ended the car in front of me. I wound up with a stinger in my ass too. So
That's that. Yeah. We're in the car and you still got stung. Yep. Oh yeah, June bugs, man. I've had some bounce off the windshield where I thought, yeah, I'm gonna lose a windshield. It's gonna crack the windshield. The jackrabbits. I've got a story, doggone it, about jackrabbits. Doggone it. You just brought it up and it makes me want to go there, but no, I got to say that's on my list. We call them skipjacks, and you'll find out why. And that's from when I drove over the road, too. Yeah, skipjacks, we call them. They're just jackrabbits. Only difference to a normal jackrabbit, these were about, they were bigger than a dinner plate, around. It sounds like a fat rabbit, don't it? Except they were only about half an inch thick and that big around. They're jackrabbits that don't make it across the highway. There's tons of them. I can give you states that you can go to, and well, I'll teach you how to play skipjack first, and then you can go to that state and play skipjack. Yeah. Someone on a local page shared a guy in a Honda CRV who rear-ended a Lamborghini. Jake from State Farm isn't going to be carrying him anymore. You don't think so? I consider myself fortunate. I've only rear-ended 2 vehicles in all my years of driving. I only rear-ended 2 vehicles, and both of them were immediately by the police officers that came to the scene ruled as not my fault. Yep. The first time was a person that had no tail lights, no brake lights, no turn signals. Slam on their brakes. It was dry highway, and there was a person with the biggest yard sprinkler I ever seen. I think that yard sprinkler could water a quarter of an acre. And they had that on a hillside running, and it's spraying out onto the highway.
Oh, God.
So the highway's soaking wet for about 40 feet. And this guy just cleared that water and slammed on the brakes, and he's going to make a left-hand turn, but there's oncoming traffic. Problem was at the speed we were going, my rig was just getting onto that water patch. I hit the binders. That's before, anti-lock brakes. And with anti-locks, I still would have hit them. I locked it up, just pumping them brakes, trying to keep the rig under control. And I ass-ended the guy. There's no way that I could have stopped on that wet road surface in that distance. So they determined between the lawn sprinkler and his lack of having any tail lights. And when I told the cop, "You don't have no tail lights," the cop said, "Well, of course, you rear-ended him." I said, "Take a look at the damage." I was driving a Dodge Ram truck that had a plow rig on it. No plow on it, but it still had the plow jack on the front, the hoist. And I rear-ended him, and you can see right where the hoist hit. And both sets of tail lights are undamaged. But you can see that nice V where the plow rig hit him. And I said, "So why wouldn't his taillights be working with me not even touching his taillights?" Cop says, "Oh, well, let's check that out." And they did, and no taillights. Boom, 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 boom. The other time I rear-ended somebody that was in Massachusetts on a little 2-lane road. This guy in a little, I'll never forget, a little burgundy-colored Subaru passed me on the shoulder. I'm doing 55 miles an hour in an over-the-road truck, cab over. I looked at my passenger side mirror, and in my little blind spot mirror, I see the roof of this car, and it's passing me. Well, he's right up to my tractor already. So I backed out of it thinking, man, this guy's insane. Just get away from me. Let him by, let him get around me. He gets around me, and he cuts in so close in that cab over, I couldn't see him down there. His car just disappeared in front of my truck, and then he creeps away from me, and he left me about 40 to 60 feet, turned his left signal on and slammed the brakes on. Oncoming traffic again, a car coming towards him. So he come to a complete stop, and I had every tire on that truck locked up. Boy, the smoke when that truck came to a stop wasn't enough. And I steered the truck off towards the shoulder a bit, didn't dare go off the blacktop, lay that truck right in the ditch. Not as far to the right as I could, and boom, I hit the passenger side rear corner of his car, and it sent that Subaru just like a top spinning down the highway. You could hear the tires just screeching as he's spinning. And he got out of the car and he made it about 10 feet, and then he fell down. He was so damn dizzy he couldn't stand up. He wasn't hurt at all, but was he dizzy. And right away he's going to blame me. And the cops showed up, and the cops were taking his word for it that I had to have been speeding, and he had been sitting there for several seconds waiting to turn. And lo and behold, this gal comes walking down off this hill, this yard, beautiful yard. She was planting flowers up there. Saw the whole damn thing. She comes down, and one of the officers addresses her by name, her full name, Mrs. So-and-so and so. Well, I find out after she talked to him, and the officers told me, they said, "Is your truck operable? Can you take it down the highway safely?" I said, "Yeah, it's nothing bad here. Not hardly any damage. A little dent in the bumper, that's about it." And they said, you can leave. They said, "We're going to impound his car, and he's going to be charged for endangerment." And I said, "Oh my God." And he says, "Well, we could go with just reckless driving," but he says, "No, we're going with endangerment because Judge so-and-so's wife told us everything." That wasn't lost on me. Judge so-and-so's wife Judge. Oh, jeez. Oh yeah, when the judge's wife says, "I seen it all," guess what? Whoever was wrong is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that. That one was determined not to be my fault either. So fortunate. That's one thing I haven't been in is I had 2 accidents driving, well, 3 accidents driving over the road truck, that one. And then I had one where another trucker backed into me. That scared the shit out of me. You're driving a flat nose over, a flat nose cab over a truck, and all of a sudden you see a semi trailer backing up towards you, and you're going, "Say what? Whoa, stop!" And you can't back up because there's other trucks behind you, and you're like, "Stop!" You start blasting your horn. You're on the CB yelling, "Stop!" And they crunch in the front end of your truck. Well, there's only about that much of the truck beyond your knees. I mean, you're sitting right out on the nose of that thing. He backed up far enough, it pushed the cab, the big grab handles for tipping the cab, pushed those all the way through the front of the truck and flattened the front of my truck out right to the windshield. And I could see half a dozen little cracks that were starting in the windshield before he finally stopped. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going to be squished to death by this guy. Yeah. And then the other one, some guy rear-ended me. That was the scariest one because he was driving another truck, but he was driving a straight truck, flatbed with stake sides, with the 100-pound cylinders of propane, full truckload of propane, and he rear-ended my semi-trailer, and I'm hearing bing, 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 and I'm watching propane cylinders flying past my truck into the intersection. And I'm like, oh no, one of those is going to go ping, ping, kaboom, Yeah. My truck driver now use dash cams, so many don't ask people. Think they can just cut off semis. A ton vehicle. Don't stop on a dime. That's right. God, I think back to then. There were so many drivers that were wrongfully, it was pretty standard. You want to talk about something that's kind of just a given back in the 70s and 80s. The trucker was always in the wrong, always. It was assumed. It was I've always been involved with law enforcement, family and friends, and all of them said the same thing. Oh no, if it's a truck and passenger vehicle confrontation, we automatically assume it's the driver's fault, the truck driver's fault. He's driving too fast. He wasn't far enough from that vehicle. They always said it was commercial driver error. Now they've gotten away from that, and it's because of dash cams. Truckers started saying, "Hey, it's not our damn fault all the time," and they started using dash cams. Yeah, running water. He's always got a camera running. That's paranoia, I guess.
It's the 4-wheelers. Truck drivers usually got a nice big opening in front of him, so he's nice and comfortable and whatnot, like we all should. That's usually one of them 4-wheelers that gets within that space, and truck drivers got to slow down to try to get that. But if they get in front of you like that, and then they're looking to make a turn, holy crap! That happens with me with a regular car, man. I'll try to. I have a nice comfortable distance between me and the car in front of me, so I'm pull right and. So speed up to go around you. Speed up to, like that one video I made. Speed up to get around you, cut you off, and then practically stop to make a right-hand turn.
Right. Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo. Yeah. Since about 89, no fleets were buying cab overs at all anymore after 89. The cab overs you saw out there and any you see out there nowadays, they're owner operators running them. And I'll tell you what, there were benefits to that cab over. I was able to pull a 50-foot trailer and put it into spots other guys were putting 40s and 45s because I had that flat nose. But they don't ride as good. They don't ride as good. And the thing is statistically, a cab over is no more dangerous than a conventional. You know, when it comes to accidents, people think, well, you got that engine and all that front end of that truck to protect you. Well, that's not what usually kills the driver. It's the trailer gets you, crushes the cab. Yeah, so it's now I saw a cab over coming down Grapevine out there in California that had to take the emergency exit. He hit that soft sand and his truck come to a stop. His trailer busted the kingpin and come sliding right down the frame of that tractor, and it knocked his cab over cab right off the end of that frame, and his cab was rolling down the damn hill with him in it. And I was amazed the guy survived. He had a few broken bones, but he survived it. But God, what a ride. Bleep. I had one that I didn't realize it. It was a lease truck because my truck was in the garage. So I leased a truck to use just to do this one run. Well, I did the typical walkthrough, you know, kick the tires, make sure everything's good, everything's working, done the safety check. Well, one thing you don't do when you do a safety check with a cab over is tip the cab over. You don't need to tip the cab over because you can see the engine, you can access it, check the oil, do everything without tipping that cab. I didn't find out till I'm going through Chicago on the loop with a bunch of steel in a box trailer, heavy load, just banging up and down, banging up and down. I felt my shifter going up and down. And I looked down and the floor's coming up and then going down, coming up, going down. And when I looked in the side mirror, I realized what was going on. The floor wasn't going up and down. The shifter wasn't going up and down. The cab was tipping.
Oh, God.
Tipping off the front, tipping forward. The latch, the locking mechanism for the back of the cab was busted, and they had taken swing set chain and wrapped it and thought that'll hold the cab on there. I tell you what, that lease company, when I come in the door, just to prove to them what the hell they did to me, I come pulling into their lot, and they didn't have a trailer behind it, just a tractor. I come pulling in their lot right up to their garage, and they're like, two guys ran out of the garage going, whoa, 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 because I was coming in so fast. Hit the binders, and that cab tipped all the way forward. I was looking right at the parking lot. It tipped all the way forward. I opened the driver's door, and I walked out on the driver's door and sat down and then jumped off. And there's the cab nose pointing right at the ground. I said, look at that. Look at that. I just drove 2,800 miles in that damn thing with a busted lock system on the cab. I said, you realize what would have happened to me out on the highway if that cab would have tipped all the way over like that? Because the shifter just disappears. It goes right down to the floor. Right, the knob was right at the floor. All of your pedals, everything quit working. And, well, you can't use them anyway because now you're laying over the top of the steering wheel. Yeah, and they're going, oh, you had a problem with that, huh? Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit of a problem. Felt his shifter going up and down. There's Roman for you. That's Roman for you. Yep. Feel that old shifter. Oh yeah. I met a gal in Wyoming. She had the sweetest flatbed rig I ever seen. That was the sweetest Peterbilt I've ever seen too. Custom built. She's an owner operator. She's the one where I asked her, I had coffee with her, and after I had totally checked her truck out, I asked her, I said, well, how do you like your Peterbilt? And she goes, oh, about that long and about that big around. She was a smart ass. Not only did she have a sweet truck, but she had a foul mouth. Yeah. Yeah. But she had her shifter was a big dildo. She had a great big dildo on her shift lever. This girl was terrible. She caught her boyfriend with another woman, and she told him she forgave him, right? She showed me pictures, and that's one of those things like filling a mankini that once it's burned in there, you can't get rid of it. That what? She took a full bottle of super glue, and he was sleeping, and she glued his legs together from the knees almost to his junk. He woke up in the morning. He was laying, like in a fetal position, sleeping. Woke up in the morning, realized he couldn't spread his legs. Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, she showed me pictures of him screaming at her, and his legs, you could tell. There's the skin on both legs is all stretched out. I told her, I said, yeah, that's interesting. You're heading east, I hope, because I'm heading west. I don't want to be going the same direction. No. Tough girl. Nice truck, though. Old man saying years ago my father was, I don't get that word, by a speeding car, or T-boned by a speeding car that ran a stoplight. His pickup truck was totaled. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's called bourbon bounty. It's called baking cabbage when you can spread your legs apart. Can't. Yeah. Roman says he needs a shower after this.
Yeah, that's always scary, those old semis where, the driver is basically right on the glass. I was always wondered, as a person growing up, just seeing someone being right there. I mean, it's like you said, though, a car right there, you couldn't see them, even though it seems like they'd be right. You're right up against the windshield. They'd be right there. But you're sitting back far enough.
Well, that's it. Your windshield is at least 8 feet off the ground. The bottom of your windshield is 8 feet off the ground. So a small compact vehicle can get in front of you and you won't see them because your line of vision is about 12 feet.
Okay.
So unless you get way out there like that, put your head against the windshield, then you can look down in front of you. The worst truck I ever drove was a cab over GMC Aerostar. That's got the biggest damn windshield in the world. It starts at your feet. Down at the floor. In fact, if you stand in front of that truck and you look, you can see the pedals. You can see the accelerator pedal and the brake pedal and the clutch. And that windshield is about 18 inches above your head. So when you're driving on the road, you don't even think there's anything in front of you. It's just like you're hanging out there. You're just
wow.
And the windshield on that GMC wrapped around. It was curved. So it came way back, almost, so when you're sitting there driving, it's halfway up your forearm is where the window is on the side, on both sides. So you literally feel like you're sitting in a glass bubble out front.
Wow.
And that's the truck I was driving when I went off a mountain out in Landers, Wyoming. I'm going over South Pass in the winter without a load. I was too light. the winds were about 60 miles an hour and the roads were snow covered, and it blowed my truck off the road. I had the wife with on the trip. On the passenger side, there's an actual dashboard. Not on the driver's side, but on the passenger side, the doghouse came up and the dashboard wrapped around in front of the passenger. She left fingernail tracks in the dashboard. She gouged that vinyl off that dashboard when we went off this side.
No.
He wasn't happy.
Well, no.
Well, I told her, I said, you wait till tomorrow morning, because this is the middle of the night. We blew off the side of the mountain. I told her, I said, you wait till, because we slept in the truck there off the road. I said, you wait till tomorrow when the sun comes up. She goes, well, what do you mean? I said, wait till you see what's on the other side of the road. It's just a 2-lane highway. When she saw the other side and realized it's over 900 feet at about a 45-degree angle, all the way down into the canyon. She goes, well, at least you picked the right side of the road to go off on. Well, thank you for the credit, you know. And then I had to flag a truck down to give us a ride off that mountain. Only truck that stopped was a 42-foot long propane truck, tractor pulling a big 42-foot propane cylinder on the back. Get in there, and it's got passenger seat, jump seat, and a toolbox in between the two. So the wife had to sit on the toolbox, and this guy's going down the mountain like it's dry road, and it's snow-covered, icy, and he's just flying down that mountain, and he had me. My hand was on the door handle all the way off that mountain. I was ready to jump. I didn't care if we were doing 50, 60 miles an hour. I'm jumping out of this thing because
And leave the wife on the toolbox.
yeah.
Yeah.
She thought she could fix anything. So there she was with a toolbox, fix it. I'm out of here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I told this story before, but I may have probably have. But when we were we almost went off the side of a cliff in Korea. They had these, little narrow roads along the side of the mountain that we were going up. And, it's not big enough for two vehicles. There were places where it get a little bit wider. So this one vehicle coming towards us had to get out all the way up against the mountain. And we're doing this thing here. And finally, they just start going really slow. Well, the howitzer on the back, two great big tires, the one is like half off.
Oh.
And I'm like getting ready to jump out of the back of this 5-ton because if that thing goes over, then maybe it'll pull the truck down and everything else. Even though we've got a hitch on thing on the back where that should bust off, But there's always that chance. And man, oh man, I was ready to hop out of that thing. But the way the howitzers are, and you got underneath there, is when that wheel goes off, it should hit the dirt, the wheel fall off, and stop.
And just hang there.
Yeah. But
what if?
What if? Exactly.
Hey, thanks, Roman. You're a champ, brother. Thank you. That's great. That's one thing I found living in northwestern Montana, and you're a backcountry rover. I had that 1946 Willys Jeep, and I got on some of those roads up there where, holy God, you look down and it's 400 or 500 feet straight down, and your Jeep is leaning at about maybe a 20-degree angle because you got your tires actually on the uphill mountainside to fit on the road. It wasn't wide enough even for that little Jeep. And every once in a while there's a rock. So you got to stop your Jeep, get out and squeeze along the side of it, looking down over the cliff to go roll that rock off the side to continue on. And I'd take people up and they'd go, that is insane. You can't drive there. I'll walk. You go ahead and drive. I'll walk. Yeah. It's pretty, and that's it. My uncle, he did a lot of years in Korea, Korean years. Yeah, he has home. What would that be? Super 8 film, from back in the days, reel to reel shit. He's got old home movies of some of those roads you're talking about, Phil. And he's had some still shots of a deuce and a half that had the roadway breakaway, and the driver's side front tire was on the ground. The dualies on the passenger side rear were on the ground. The axle was down to the roadway, but the front tire on the passenger side was about 18 inches off the ground. And then one of his pictures shows they lifted the rear flap. That damn thing was full of wooden crates right to the top of that canopy. And he said, yeah, it just looked like a standard deuce and a half, but when you saw what was being carried in it, the fact the truck it was so top heavy that it didn't just roll off. It was amazing. He said they did get it out of there, but yeah, that's craziness. Some of them foreign roads. I love watching YouTube videos of these guys up in Russia driving through rivers. And this one I watched, it's a big bus full of passengers. They get to the river, and all of a sudden all these passengers are crawling out of the windows, and they all get on the roof of the bus because the water gets so damn deep in the bus. They're afraid they'll drown in the bus. Well, the motor's got big snorkel on it. The driver's got the door open, and he's hanging out the door, and all he's got it in gear, and they got a manual throttle on the dash so that he can stand outside of the bus and drive it across the river. Now,
ridiculous.
I want to know what the hell's on the other side of the river that it's worth doing that to get there.
Right.
There, something really good's got to be on the other side of that river. Plus, I wonder, don't they have boats in Russia? Crying out loud! I watched so many of those videos. They're driving through rivers. There ain't no bridge. There ain't a boat in sight. Come on. Yeah, Roman says bridges are expensive. Yeah, but for crying out loud, use a boat. I mean, at least the passengers use a boat.
It's Russia. They're all tough over there.
Well, that's it. Is that that if somebody were to say, "Oh my gosh, we lost a bus crossing the river," they would say one bus. They wouldn't say how many people were in the bus. They'd say you lost one bus.
I just went to click on Berman Bounty's comment.
You were going to click on it.
Yep.
Try and bring it up.
That it was a vodka run.
Yeah. I was going to put it up on the screen.
That's Well, that's good. If you want to come over here and practice, Phil, feel free. Speaking of practice, Samantha was practicing earlier.
Yeah.
Was she?
Yeah. Before the stream started, we're in here chatting, and I realized Samantha's muted, and I look, and she's right up to her mic, and I could see the uke. She's practicing. well, we're chatting. So,
She played on my stream last night when I had to leave for a second.
Yeah,
Wow.
Kirby Chris wanted to hear a COVID-19 song, so I did one for him.
And what's her name? Kicking It with Karen liked your one song today too. Remember that in the chat? Kicking It with Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all like them. So I mean, come on.
I'm dying of heat right now.
yeah, running water. I'd prefer a boat that the ride would fit in. Yeah, why aren't they using barges? Barges are cheaper than bridges.
Or just those car boats, where it's a car and then
Oh,
it turns
yeah.
into a boat.
Amphibious jobs.
It
Yeah.
goes back out. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Probably difficult with a bus. Buses are probably pretty top heavy.
That's funny, Phil, that you say that, because I almost bought 3 aqueducts. They were actually ex-Marine aqueducts. They were for sale in Manitowish Waters over here in Wisconsin. The guy owned like 30 of them, and he was going to start a duck service like they have at the Wisconsin Dells. At the Wisconsin Dells, you can buy a ticket, get one of them big aqueducts, and they drive right through town and right into the river, and down they take you down through the Dells. You get to see all the rock formations, and they turn that duck around, come back up river, and pull it out in town and take you back to where your cars are parked.
Wow.
And I had a chance to buy 3 of them, but I had to buy all 3 to get the price that I wanted. And he wanted $3,600 a piece for them. All 3 of them were running. And I thought, well, I lived in Bayfield, Wisconsin at the time, and we have a ferry service that runs back and forth out to Madeline Island. It's about 1.5 miles across the island. And I thought, awesome, because Bayfield's a historic town, and the island is a historic island. I could do these Bayfield, Madeline historic tours with my 3 aqueducts and make a bundle. I got to be charging these people $30 a piece, $40 a piece for a 2-hour tour. And I could just drive across the bay right over to the island. Well, word got out that I was thinking of doing that. Holy shit. I had the Chamber of Commerce was going to burn my house down. I had the Madeline Island ferry service said, we'll sue you, and on and on. And then it got, I thought, I can deal with all that. I'll get through it. I can deal with it. Then the mayor of the city of Bayfield called me and said, we just passed a new ordinance in the city of Bayfield that you cannot use the landings in Bayfield commercially. So you cannot put your aqueduct in and out of the water on our landings. They did it to cover these other businesses that have tourist trade,
Sure.
And so I thought, well, that's fine. Okay. Just won't do it. Roman says, I'd love to see your crazy ass riding across the river, and one of those people have no sense of humor. In fact, it took me about 4 months. I finally found someone that would insure me to do that. It's tough to get liability insurance to do something like that, because under state law, I had to have a minimum of $1 million in liability coverage. Well, $1 million, that's one person on a boat gets hurt. So I was in the market for, I wanted 10 million and 1 million per incident. So there could be up to 10 incidents, up to $10 million. And finally, I found a company that would insure me, and it was reasonable enough. And it was about $100,000 a year for 10 million in insurance. But them sons of bitches shut me down. Saucy Shane's recovering from a hot sauce chug. Yeah. Makes sense, Shane. It makes sense. There is a recovery period. The 6 wheels that goes across the water one time at an auction. It didn't take a whole long time until he turned around and had it sold to someone. Yeah, these were 8. These were 4-axle, had 8 wheels, 4 on each side. They were big ones. I could put, I think it was 22 people per aqueduct I could put in them. That was the buoyancy rating for it. They could put 22 troop in it. Actually, no, they were able to put 34 troop in it, but they didn't have benches in them. Those were just open deck. They just stuffed guys in them like sardines. And we figured that by the time we put the benches in, I could take 22 on board and still meet the capacity of it. It's not polite to stare. If she decides to sing tonight, she gets the stage. She gets the stage. Yeah. Oh God, I can remember back in the early 1960s.
Oh yeah, ice road truckers. Yeah.
We had a local guy. He was a great big bugger. He was like 6'3", 6'4", and he weighed about 400 pounds. And he had one of them little aqua cars. And that thing freaked me out as a kid. There were big old white propellers sticking out of the ass end of this little red car. And he'd come into town and he'd drive down our boat landing. My dad would be down there with the squad car and crowd control, because everybody knew that he always showed up on July 1st, no matter what day of the week it was. July 1st, he was there, and he had a cottage out on an island off of the bay we lived on. And he would drive his car out to his island out there. And he'd drive right down that damn boat ramp, and there he goes across the lake in his car. Well, it was funny. One summer, here he comes, and half the town's there to watch him come in with his red car. He hits the water, and all of a sudden you can see the water shooting out the back, and he's heading across the lake. All of a sudden he's standing up in his car, and all of a sudden he's sitting on the door, and that car's starting to tip, and he's turning this bitch around, and he's heading back to the shore. And yeah, you should have heard him. The way he was yelling, and it was, "Oh Lordy, Lordy, oh Lordy, 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 oh Lordy," and that's all he said. "Oh Lordy, Lordy, Lordy." Yeah, he was about 15 feet from the boat landing when the car finally sank. He forgot to put there's 2 plugs in it for draining water out, and he forgot to put them plugs in. So he's out there driving around the lake, and he's taking on water, didn't realize it till his feet were wet. If he would have realized it maybe about 30 seconds sooner and turned around, he would have made it. He would have made it to the boat landing. There were guys there with there's a guy with a pickup truck and a big long chain with a hook on it. Get close enough, we can get the hook on the bumper, just to keep you from losing the car. And yeah. Dad was always said, no freaking way would he do it. And he had almost 30 years of trucking behind him.
And we used to watch that Ice Road Truckers from Alaska, and those guys would have, from that lake or whatever up there, ocean, I don't know, lake, ocean, whatever, would freeze over, and it was made their own road.
Yep.
That was crazy.
They do that in Minnesota on a few lakes too, and it's amazing how they can build those roads up. Like in Minnesota, Lake Mille Lacs, I think I've talked about that before. Now, Lake Mille Lacs, in the winter, they go out and they plow the lake roads, and they plow out fishing villages. And you can go out there and pick where you want to put your ice house anywhere in these fishing villages. And they've got street signs, street names. And it's streets going all over the place with all these fishing shacks. It's insane. I don't know if they still do, but back, it wasn't too many years ago, they had, from Garrison, Minnesota, they put a branch of the Garrison post office out on the lake for the whole winter.
Oh my gosh.
Because there were people that they lived out on the lake for the whole winter fishing. But their fish shacks, some of them are, they're 5-star hotel rooms. They sell fish shacks up there for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
Good Lord.
And they're just like a big fancy RV. And they got hydraulic axles on them. They tow them out there, and the axles fold up underneath, and that thing sits right down on the ice. The place is all carpeted, got nice, cushy furniture, flat screen TV, internet, everything, and holes in the floor. You're all out. You finally ate the last of the jelly beans. Oh, there they are. Well, you're almost out. Well, that jug did last you longer than I thought it was gonna. Bourbon Bonnie, yeah. When they lose their vehicle, they're putting their boat in and lose the vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that thing lasts me about a month. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think so. It was about a
I'm
month.
trying to think. I bought it at Costco. Oh, you know what? That was probably about 3 weeks ago. Because again, that wasn't when I went and got the TP. That was when I went and got the TV. That I bought that.
Uh-huh.
So that I could have the TV in the basement.
Right.
That was around my birthday in May.
Yeah.
It's about a month.
Yeah. And that's about as much sugar as I'm supposed to eat in a year.
Right.
Mr. Shannon Knight.
What's up, Mr. Shannon Knight?
I've been oiling Crazy Ann's knees with KFC gravy again. It's the only way to get rid of the IKEA takeover of her bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, Bourbon Bonnie. I seen a guy, town I grew up in, I seen a guy putting a big boat. It was about a 26-footer. He had it all strapped to the trailer and everything. He didn't unstrap it or anything before he backed down the boat ramp. Got to the bottom of the boat ramp, and his hitch busted loose. And that boat kept rolling, and it took off out in the water, and it's got this massive trailer strapped to it out in the water. They had fun trying to figure out, now how the hell are we going to get it out of there? Took a tow truck to chain up to it and haul it out, but it was pretty funny. He backs up, and all of a sudden we hear this kaboom. You know, we see the boat's moving, and his truck's not. And we're like, oh, that ain't good. And off went his big fancy boat. Roman, I thought I was the only one with KFC gravy in the bedroom. It all depends on what you're doing with that gravy. Yeah, gravy Ivy.
When you got to get that straight to your.
Yeah, that was always a bummer. I'd go to KFC, and I'd order the chicken, the sides of taters, and then, you you get a container of gravy. Bullshit! I need 6 of those.
Mhm.
You know, feeding the family. Now we need 6 of those gravies. They're like,
What?
what in the hell? Well, yeah, you know, you got to have a little bit of potatoes with your gravy. We had a lot of meals where we're going, oh, geez, I don't want to have to make gravy. I'll be right back. And I'd run down to KFC and just buy a bunch of gravy and bring it home. They don't have to make it that way. It's all ready, just waiting for me.
That's probably they don't sell it in the stores.
Yeah. Oh, store-bought gravy in jars and cans. I can't eat any of them.
Oh,
No?
that's nasty.
Oh, no, I can't.
We do for Thanksgiving.
That's
I
nasty.
can't. Oh, I can't. One thing is, I could eat 2 tablespoons of that canned or bottled gravy, and I've got heartburn for 6 hours.
Really?
I don't know what it is about that gravy, but it doesn't agree with me, and to me, it don't taste right. It's gotta be homemade gravy or KFC. Now, I'm certain KFC's is coming in a big jug, and they're just pouring
Right.
it in, heating it up, you know. But as long as I don't see the jug, I guess I'm okay with it.
You don't think those hardworking people are in the back putting that gravy together with the Colonel's secret recipe for making gravy?
Christ.
You don't have homemade turkey gravy, Phil?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Gosh.
That's
No,
sacrilege.
we get the store-bought stuff, dump it out of the jar, warm it up.
Oh,
We do our own potatoes. That's one thing I always hate about Thanksgiving and Christmas. Is there's always a football game on, and I'm always peeling potatoes while the football game's going on along next side the wife. You know, feel like I got freaking KP duty every Christmas and Thanksgiving.
uh-huh.
Peeling potatoes for the damn family. But no, I think that's the only thing. You know, we usually have a couple turkey breasts that we get. Her mom makes homemade stuffing. So her mom's stuffing. She doesn't do the cornbread stuffing. She does. Hers is like her cornbread stuffing is not the sweet cornbread. It's the I don't know, the stuff you make in the cast iron pan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always to me it's always dry. It's like you get the gravy. It has to go on the turkey. It has to go on the potatoes. It has to go on the cornbread. Everything's dry.
Oh, my dressing, the dressing out of the bird is always super moist, and then even what I put in the oven is moist. And I don't buy the bags of dressing cubes and stuff. Hell, I got enough heels and stuff off of loaves of bread, and I store them in the freezer. And when I want to make dressing, yep, I chop up my own cubes, and just my dressing usually has white wheat and rye bread cubes in it. But it's got to be it's got to be homemade turkey gravy. I put all the giblets in a pot and I simmer those. Then I use the water off of that, which I let simmer down a ways because it makes the best turkey broth.
And the drippings from the turkey.
And yeah, and then all the drippings in the turkey pan. See, I use the big roaster, and I end up making half a gallon of damn turkey gravy.
Yep.
because you got to have it for the meal, then you got to have it for the leftovers, then you
Right.
got to have some to make turkey gravy to put over taters.
Yeah.
And so there's never enough homemade turkey gravy. And I always put dried cranberries and raisins in my dressing, and celery and onions, and that'll be in the base of the roaster because it falls out of the ass of the turkey while you're cooking them. Some of it falls out, and all that goes in the gravy. And yeah. Damn it. Ain't it Thanksgiving
work.
yet? Ain't it Thanksgiving yet?
Now this year's half over already. Isn't that nuts?
Somebody was saying election day is 148 days away, and I'm like, oh, shut the F up. That's in November. No, I don't want to know how many days of summer are left, because I guarantee it's not enough.
How many days until Christmas?
Not enough.
Don't talk about that. No. I may return when it quiets down again. Okay, Samantha. You know we're here, and you know you get to come up. Yeah, I've cooked turkeys a whole bunch of different ways, and I still like my oven baked turkey. Or I don't mind I like deep fried turkey, but that's a little bit of effort. And I should show this.
$194 shopping days till Christmas.
Well, okay. I should, yeah. I can spend my $200 budget in 194 days.
Well, I've got a niece. Yeah, I got a niece that they put their tree up before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know a few people that do too.
And she's got 2 or 3 of them that she puts up. Craziness.
We used to put up, well, in the one house we put 3, and the other houses we had 2 every year. My wife, of course, she comes up with all of the design ideas, and then Sty gets stuck putting all that shit up. Not anymore. I got this little fake tree I pull out, sits on this little table, pull its branches down, plug it in. There, ain't you pretty?
That's what we do. We do the fake tree now. So
yeah,
we're on our 3rd fake tree or 2nd fake tree. I think it's our 2nd fake tree we're on now. So the good ones are hard to find. Ones that look realistic.
Oh, you're gonna pay for them,
man.
You're gonna pay for them too.
Oh yeah, we went up to Frankenmuth and got our last one. Frankenmuth and Bronner's. You know, they got Bronner's. Open 364 days a year. It's a Christmas store.
Yeah.
No summer, it's open. And we went up there a couple years ago, and that's where we got our artificial tree from. Well, we couldn't find any. Used to be the local stores. Local stores never really had any good ones, but you could find decent ones at certain places, and we couldn't find anything that was worth a damn. So we finally bit the bullet. We knew we'd pay more going up to Bronner's to get it. And even out of everything we looked at there, we had a hard time finding something that, to us was a traditional tree. They had some gorgeous trees that you could have spent, anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for these pre-lit artificial trees that were beautiful. They just wasn't what we would consider a traditional Christmas tree. That's all.
Right. Yeah, I bought one. It was a Douglas fir artificial tree, and that bugger, you could not tell it was artificial. But I got it on sale for $300, and that was a nice tree though, because we lived in a big Victorian house. It had 9-foot ceilings on the main floor, and that was a full 8-foot tree. So when I was selling all of the junk off after my divorce, come across that tree, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that tree was $480 some. I got it for $300. I better get $100 and a half for it, because it was only used one Christmas. everybody looking at it and they going, "Are you crazy? An artificial tree for that kind of money?" Well, finally, I got tired of hearing that, and this one guy was going, "God," he says, "what kind of tree is that it's worth that?" And I opened the case up because we had it actually came in a hard plastic case, and I opened that case up and I took the top out, got the boughs down on it, and told him, "Look, check that out." And he's looking at it and he goes, "Oh my God, it looks like you cut up a real tree and stuffed it in there." I said, "Uh-huh, yeah." I said, "That's why." I said, "That wasn't a cheap tree." Yeah, he gave me $100 for it. So
I bet.
yeah, so I felt okay.
Like I said, I'm doing good. I've had my same artificial tree for over 20 years.
Wow, that is
And
good.
it worked great.
Yeah, if you take care of them and pack them away good, they last forever. Because we had 2 trees that we had at least 15 years. Yeah.
And it looks like a real tree. People still wonder when they see it.
Uh-huh. Nothing like I'll never forget as a kid, our church. Oh, they were so thrilled. They were so thrilled. Somebody donated a tree to the church. And they put that thing up in the church. And as a kid, I looked at that and I go, "That ain't no Christmas tree." It was one of them old foil jobs that had
Oh, God.
it was just tinfoil basically. And you can see every, it looked like coat hangers
Yes.
for the branches and thin as sin. And yeah, they had to put about 400 pounds of decorations on it to make it look like a tree. It was just a big silver hollow thing. It was the grossest Christmas tree I ever seen. It's just, but it was donated to us. It's such a blessing. Yeah, okay.
My grandma
Yeah.
had those, and I hated that tree.
We had
All of the tree.
they were both 6-footers. We had a white one and we had a powder blue one.
Mm.
And about every other year we would alternate those, and we had all these hand blown Christmas ornaments that came out of France, Italy, and Germany. And they were all like candies, but they're all hand blown glass ornaments that went on that damn tree. I kept telling my ex-wife, "Tree like that ain't good when you got a ton of grandkids, man. You watch, they'll be knocking that sucker over." Oh yeah, every year the tree went over at least once. My one grandson, he still today, when he sees me, because I don't get to see him often, he'll go, "Am I forgiven yet?" That's the first thing comes out of his mouth. "Am I forgiven yet?" And I go, No, you little bastard." He's 21 years old now. I still call him a little bastard. And he won't be forgiven. He beat the shit out of my Santa Claus. He was only 6 years old at that time. But I mean, he literally knocked the shit out of my singing Santa Claus. I had this big, tall, singing Santa Claus. You walk in the house and he'd start singing. That kid beat the shit out of him. I heard all this ruckus in the living room. I'm in the kitchen. I come in and I seen that kid on my Santa beating the hell out of him. And the kid said the Santa started it. I looked at his mother and I go, "Uh-huh, he's your kid, all right, huh?
Yeah, Santa called Mama ho ho ho.
Yeah. Every time Mom walked by, he went ho ho ho."
He had an ass whooping coming.
I had to explain to the kid, "Hey, Santa doesn't lie, Yeah, Tim, yeah, ho ho ho. I did have one of my grandkids got their fingers good, and that didn't break any of them, but boy, they felt like they were broke. We had a great big big 5.5-foot nutcracker. It worked. I mean, it had the lever, his mouth worked. Yeah. Kids were playing with that, and that kid stuck his hand in that thing's mouth with two kids up behind it pushing down on the lever. Look at, we got him. We got him by the hand. Uh-huh. Merry Christmas. Hey, Mr. Shannonite. Thanks for being here. Catch you next time. Gonna be holding your breath for that one, eh?
Right. Waiting for Mr. Shannonite to come up with something funny. Takes one to know one, Shannonite. Takes one to know one.
Hey, Lizzie Ann.
What's up, Lizzie Ann?
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Lizzie Ann.
Yeah, Bradley, I'm glad I don't have to do that. Well, I do for one of the two holidays. It all depends on what my boys are doing, if they're working or not. I pick one of the two holidays, and I do up the whole turkey dinner thing, traditional, like they were used to growing up, and that's it for the year that I do. Otherwise, I don't have to do that shit no more. Oh, yeah. Yep, old man, that's right. Where I grew up west of Minneapolis, we lived way out from Minneapolis, suburbs now, but there was one year, my dad, chief of police, he driving around town trying to catch the people that were topping everybody's spruce in town.
Mm.
They're cutting the tops out of all the spruce. And you can still go there, and now these spruce are huge with flat tops on them all over town. You can see the ones from back then in the late 60s that had their tops cut out of them. And then they did it again sometime in the late 70s, early 80s. There was like a tree shortage of some kind, and people were cutting down people's trees out of their yards, stealing people's pine trees.
That's the holiday spirit.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah, just showing the holiday
Yeah.
spirit.
You're better off to go without one than
Right. You don't want people going without their Christmas tree.
military.
Yeah, people stealing trees, not cool. Yeah, flat tops on the trees. Yeah. Rough times in the neighborhood.
Well, I've told the story, I think, on here before, whether here or there, but I used to always get sent out for those trees. What's up, Roman?
Roman.
Hey, Roman.
Hey, Roman.
Go on with your story there, Philip.
But we used to always do natural trees, My wife said I'd go out, and she'd always wind up sending me out because it was always cold and wet and miserable, and I'd always go around and search for the perfect tree and look all around the tree and make sure it's standing upright, didn't have any holes in it or whatever. I'd get out there, I'd cut it down, throw it on the back of the truck. They'd bring it back. They put on the shaker, and the shaker would shake all the pine needles and shit out of it. Wrapper thing would wrap it up and everything. Get it home. Swear to God, they'd give me the wrong freaking tree every time because I get the thing home. It'd be cattywampus, have a great big hole in it. It's like, did you even look at this thing? Yeah, I looked at it.
Look good.
That's one part of stress that's gone from my life is having to deal. Heck, half the time I don't have to deal with the tree anymore. Anyways, the wife and the kids get it up on my day that I'm working half the time and take it down when I'm not. I'm good with all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have huge Christmas tree farms up here too.
Oh, they're all over up here.
Actually, south of us a ways, there's a really big outfit down there, and then Medford, Wisconsin, outside of Medford. I actually knew that guy for several years, and we had some business dealings. And he has a tree farm, and every single one of his trees goes out of the U.S. They all get sent to Hawaii.
Oh, really?
And he's got this machine. Those trees come out, and it does what you're talking, shakes all the needles out. But boy, they're real strict about inspecting them because they charge $185 a piece for those live trees. But they go into a big cardboard tube, into that big tube, and it gets sealed, and they ship the son of a bitch off to Hawaii.
In a tube?
In a tube, in a cardboard tube. And they come, and they're guaranteed that they arrive fresh and alive and fresh. And I asked him, "You ever get any returns?" He said in 9 years of doing it, he says, I've only had 6 returns. 6 returns where people wanted their money back. And
Bradley,
said, well, you must be doing a good job.
Bradley wants to know how we got on the topic of Christmas. I think it started with Kentucky Fried Chicken gravy in Roman's bedroom. And it went from gravy to not homemade gravy to Thanksgiving and Christmas to how many days until Thanksgiving, and then how many days until Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think that was the.
Yeah, he knows it. It's all Roman's fault. He knows it.
I'll own it. It's my
I'll
fault.
own it.
Totally my fault. KFC gravy in my bedroom. Yes, please.
Bourbon Bonnie. A pyramid of spam cans. Yeah. There's your Christmas tree.
That's okay. We just decorate the palm trees.
That was my uncle. God, for years and years and years, he was having a tree shipped to him down New Mexico, Texas. He lived in both those states for many years. Always had a live tree shipped to him. He said, I just can't. He said, I can't have anything but a spruce. And he said, yeah, Texas Christmas trees just aren't the same. What the heck did you do? Look at this crap. He wanted to be next to Roman, that's all.
No, but okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to find that humping fiend you got. I'm trying to find a bear that does that.
A twerking bear?
Yeah.
I don't think they got a twerking bear.
Like your beard, Roman.
Yeah. All cleaned up. Jeez. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a little nervous about bringing him on the panel. He didn't. I kind of almost didn't recognize him. I could have used it as an excuse, Roman. If I didn't want you up here, I could have used it as an excuse.
I wouldn't get cleaned up to see you people. All right, let's just keep that straight. I had a memorial for a friend of mine that died, and I wanted to get cleaned up and look good for his family and all my friends. And it was finally time to just get cleaned up. This whole COVID shit, I'm ready to put it behind me and all that crap. So yeah, the beard had to go.
Yeah.
Time to get back into the spicy stuff.
Yeah, right?
Buy some gummy bears. No.
I'm not trying to keep pace, all right? I'll eat hot stuff. And I'll eat stuff that'll blow most people out of the water, but I'm not going to try to keep pace with the likes of Phil. That is ridiculous. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I
Yeah.
won't even pretend to go there.
Yeah. That's when people start to question your stability. Why would you try to keep up with Phil?
Well, if you could hold it down, I can't hold it down. It's not the heat that bothers me; it's the belly. It's just I can't hold it down.
For me, it's the cramps. Man,
I don't even mind the cramps. I just can't keep it down. It sucks. I could take the pain if I could make it there.
Yeah.
Got something for you in the basement there, Sty.
oh, it's one of those that's way down in the corner.
It's
What you
Baloo.
do? Yeah.
Baloo's kind of twerking.
Yeah, they're gonna copyright me on that. Probably.
I wouldn't think so.
Not on Giphy.
I just
Yeah.
gotta figure out how to transparent background him. Yeah.
Right? Well, I can't transparent background stuff, so I put the whole damn thing up there. Screw it.
It looks like Phil doing his super chat board signing dance.
Yeah. Yeah. All I got for people that do something special is, the monkey man.
That's my monkey.
Yeah, I haven't seen Cheesehead Chris in here tonight. Oh, there he is.
Ha ha ha! What an ass.
Oh, Cheesehead did show up tonight. That's cool.
So you don't have your thumbs down?
What's that?
You don't have any thumbs down now?
Oh, he's got two.
Yeah.
Oh, then he's been there.
It probably passed through. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I first started streaming, I had Cheesehead up in the corner. It would be just me because I didn't have any way to share, have a panel or not. So I'd have Cheesehead up in the corner, that ass picture all the time. And yeah. Yeah, he got pretty used to seeing himself up there.
Yeah.
Okay, Bonnie.
See you, Bounty. Went to click on it again.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, I used to have to sober up on Mondays too. We can't hear you, Roman. You're muted.
Boy, I can remember.
I know. It's usually best that way.
I can remember back in my early days, some of my jobs where the boss would tell me, "Now you show up sober Monday morning," and he'd just say, "No." On a Friday, he'd say, "You better show up sober to work." And I'd always tell him, "Okay, I'll be there around noon."
Yeah, perfect. 1:30.
That's the worst part about getting poo-pooed on a Sunday is having me. I'm always good if I'm getting poo-pooed if I can sleep in. If I can get that extra couple of hours of sleep,
Yep.
Kind of feel better when I get up and everything. That's good. But that's even in the military, Sunday nights were not a night to go out and get poo-pooed and.
Yeah, I remember one morning. It was the weekend before we shipped out for Okinawa the first time, and I think I was only 19. It was my first trip to Okinawa, and so we couldn't buy alcohol. We were on base, 29 Palms, California. It's California laws, so even on base you can't buy liquor if you're not 21. So we walked, 2 miles across the base to the package store. We bought a couple cases of Budweiser. And I had a buddy of mine that was 21. So he went in, he bought 2 cases of Budweiser, and he walked it out, and he goes, "Guess who's carrying it back to the barracks?" So I had to carry 2 cases of Budweiser about 2 miles back to the barracks. We got smashed. We shaved our heads. because that's a tradition for your first trip to Okinawa. You got to shave your head. And then, yeah, we got so shit slobbered that night. It was ridiculous. Last thing I remember, I was laying on the floor of some dude's room when we were watching Three Stooges episodes. Woke up at 5 a.m. for a run. We had a 5 a.m. run the next morning, and me and my buddy are like, "Oh, we better get in the back. We better be in the back so nobody can smell us," because we knew we reeked like alcohol. We were still drunk when we woke up, and I remember we're back there and we're like, probably 500 yards into like a 3-mile run, and my staff sergeant's back behind us, and he goes, "Jesus Christ, smells like a fucking brewery." It's like, yeah, all right, we're gonna finish the run. And we did. We finished the run, but yeah, I couldn't do that today. No fucking way.
Yeah. Oh, there are many guys that you did it. There are many guys that did it a time or two, right? They be out there on a run on a Monday morning, have to get off to the side of the road out of formation and throw up and whatnot and catch back up. You only do that a few times, and your sergeant or your lieutenant in charge gets elbow deep in your ass, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that no more." So,
actually, nobody ever talked to us about it. We did it time and time again. Nobody ever said shit. I think the grunts are different. When you're in the grunts, they're like, it's sort of expected behavior.
Yeah.
At least it was back then. I'm sure it's not now, but back then it was like, yeah, these guys, yeah, they're gonna get hammered. Whatever, as long as they can still fight.
Yeah.
As long as they can make that 6-mile run.
Yeah, right. No shit.
And they probably ran us extra far because of that shit. But whatever.
Well, I remember what was something we had. There was on K-Bay, Kaneohe Bay, we had a radio, not a radio tower, but the tower that was it was a hill that was for the Marine Corps Air Station part of it. And they had a big satellite and everything up, whatever they do up there. And there was a road that went up around this thing, and it was big and long. And man, it would seem like whenever something wasn't quite right, whenever whoever was in charge running us, was pissed off at us, we'd be running that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Or the beach, or they take us down to the beach. Oh, you guys like spending the weekends on the beach?
Have you running in sand?
We'll take you down to the beach to run. Oh, we hated running on the beach.
Yeah, run on sand.
Well, we were in 29 Palms. Yeah, we ran on the sand all the time. They'd make us run the ridge. If somebody was pissed off, they'd make us run the ridge. So we'd have to climb up. They're not mountains per se. They're just hills, but it's a ridge line, and we'd have to run the entire ridge line. And it was brutal. And then come down and then do the sugar cookie. I only had to do that once. It's like a 150-foot mound of sand. No idea why it's there. It's a geological wonder in itself. It's just this 150-foot mound of sand. So you'd run like 3-4 miles, so your whole body's soaked in sweat. They'd make you climb to the top of this thing and then roll down it.
Yeah.
And run back to the top and roll down it again. So you got all this sand all up in your schnutz, all up in your parts that you care about most, and then you still got to run 2 miles back to the barracks, with 70 grit sandpaper between your thighs. Yeah, not good times.
And you wonder why all those military guys are always pissed off.
Hey guys, I gotta throw this up real quick. Only takes a moment.
Okay.
Got to make sure to show some appreciation to those members.
Absolutely.
They're making certain things possible this year. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Carolyn Kennard is a lifetime outdoor lover.
Oh, give me a mission. Holy shit. Where's my laptop?
Yeah.
Yes, sirree. I tell you, summer's upon me, and I can't go anywhere till I get my damn trailer done. I tell you what, you talk about something that's a bitch. Okay, so I put a truck topper on the roof of my trailer, and I looked at all the trailer framing, everything. It's all nice and sound, and I got to cut all the tin out of that roof, and there isn't a good way to cut that damn tin out. Either you're going to use a cutter wheel on a skill saw or any kind of circular saw. Well, then you got all that aluminum dust and debris. It's nasty, dirty. Or you get up there with a sawzall and you just kind of butcher it, you know. Or you got to get up there with a tin snip, and I measured that son of a bitch. Yeah, I only have to tin snip 24 feet.
Oh, jeez.
Because
you have cramps in your hand.
It's about 6 feet down each side. There's 12 feet. It's 4 feet wide, front and back, and then there's 2 corners I have to cut out. So, yeah, over 25 feet of tin snipping, and so that's what I'm doing tomorrow, is trying to open up the hole up there. Then I got to jack that topper up, and I got to put a seal all the way around, and then lower the topper back down. Well, look at there. We got a new hiker, folks.
There you go.
We got a new hiker. Thank you, Roman. That is awesome, pal. That's awesome. Now, Roman, you're going to be able to get in there. You can look at any of the member.
It only took an
stuff.
It only took an IT nerd about three or 4 months to figure this out. Nah, I just finally got the motivation to do it, y'all. And
that's awesome of you.
What's up, Blake Hurst?
I really appreciate it, brother. That's cool.
No worries, man.
So cool.
I'll support you anytime.
Yep. Yeah, you're gonna go. You'll be in there.
There's people you support, you know.
New members.
But I hope there's there's a taint tickle in my future.
That there's a what?
Taint tickle?
Oh.
I thought that's what he said. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. I shouldn't have said what?
Exactly. You didn't hear it twice, did you?
Right? Ann knows what a taint is, right?
I don't know anymore. But
I don't know what a taint is? All right, it's that little part between your ball sack and your butthole. That nice, flat, smooth patch that hopefully men keep maintained.
What taint your butthole and it taint your ball sack.
Yeah, but
it ain't. It surely taint. Yeah.
Surely taint. Oh Lord.
Oh yeah. Yeah. God, whoops, sorry I stepped off the path here. Yeah, that's mud up to my ankles there.
Oh.
Wasn't so bad.
Not so bad.
Best lighter ever invented.
I got so many of them long bastards.
Well, you get them in like 5-packs at freaking Costco. Then they last you for 5 years.
Yeah,
exactly.
I got about 30 or 40 of these laying around.
It's like, oh shit, I can't find a lighter. Oh, wait a second. I got one of these giant things somewhere.
Yes, it isn't like you lose that in your pocket, right?
Well, it's funny because you don't think about it. You're like, I can't find a lighter. Why can't I find a lighter? And then you remember, oh yeah, there's the face burner. There's the beard burner right there. The beard burner.
Yeah, you do want to pay attention to where the hell you're pointing that thing.
Right?
Well, when I grew my beard,
you're talking with it, yeah, you could be lighting shit on fire.
well, when I grew my beard out a little bit longer, it became more of an issue. Things that become more of an issue when you got a long beard. Food becomes a different issue.
Well, you learn to eat differently.
Yep, drooling in your sleep because the drool will pool in your beard.
I am so lucky that I hear guys talking about that shit.
Oh,
I don't drool when I sleep. Thank
Oh.
God, because if I was feeling a wet under spot in my beard, man, I get rid of the son of a bitch. I don't need it. Does not supposed to be a wetland, you know. No,
and you have to wash it the next morning first thing. It's like, oh my God, what is this? And it starts to smell like your own drool, and then you start to realize what your own drool smells like, and you're like, why did this woman even marry me with my drool smelling like this?
Drool beard. Okay, that's something I don't. Yeah. No. I freak out in the morning when I take my.
Hey, Quebec Homestead.
Hey, Quebec Homestead. Great to see you. When I take my beard comb out, if I run my beard comb through my beard and it stops, I freak right the hell out. I don't even put my fingers in the son of a bitch, man. I'm in the shower. I'm going to be washing that fucking beard. If there's anything going to be stopping my wide-toothed beard comb from going through there, I don't want to know what the hell it is. I just want it out of there. I'm going to get in that shower and wash the shit out of that son of a bitch.
I'm so jealous of your beard. Mine gets so nappy. I can't. There's no way I can get a tight tooth comb through it, much less a wide tooth.
Yeah, you know, I got a boar's hair brush that I use, but I don't care for the brush. I like that sandalwood comb, you know. Yeah, it's a green screen. Green screen. On Sty Story Sundays, I always go with the library look. People go, whoa, look at all the books, Sty. And I go, yeah, that's a few of my stories. But yeah, I got this sweet beard comb. It folds up like a pocket knife.
Nice.
And
ooh, nice.
It's striking Viking.
Can't hear you, Sty.
It's called a striking Viking.
I got a Viking I'll be striking here soon.
Oh, calm down,
Oh.
Phil. Oh my God. I want pictures.
That it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you're not a work animal wearing a yoke, because then you would have said, yeah, I'll be stroking my yoke.
Striking the Viking.
You can strike your Viking, but don't stroke your yoke.
What have I done?
Looking at Anne. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm nice, quiet.
Sitting up there all innocent and stuff, like she hasn't done anything.
I haven't done anything wrong. All right, yeah, sure.
Yeah, if this was my real library, oh my God, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't recognize it. If I got all my books together and put them all in one room, it'd look like a garage sale.
All those serial killer books.
What?
Those are study guides, not books.
Yeah. Serial killer books. Yeah. How to eat a box of Captain Crunch in 5 minutes. Yeah. I've seen them books, yeah. Damn right. Yeah.
Hey, wait to some.
How to fly in and out of Colorado undetected.
Dun, 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 dun.
We got Bentley in here, Sty, and wait to some. If you haven't seen them.
What's that?
Bentley is here, and wait to some is in here.
Oh, way to son. Great to see you, Michelle.
And Bentley.
Yeah. He's in
Bentley
here too.
Yeah, Bentley,
Both of them are here.
came,
That's husband and wife.
they
Hey,
came
hey.
to Quebec Homestead. Okay, man.
Richard's listening while he's cooking. See here, I have books in the garage, the living room, bedroom, stairwell, everywhere. Oh, I got rid of most of my books. I gave a lot of the books I had to my youngest son, and I should have never done that because now he's like I used to be. His frickin' house is filling with books, man. I go over there and he goes, Dad, look at what I got off of eBay. Look at these old books here. And I said, cut that shit out, man. Cut it out. You're going to have to move someday. I guarantee you, you're going to have to move. You're not going to grow old and die in this house. And when you got to move them damn books, you're going to regret that hobby. I've got every National Geographic from their first publication all the way out to 1978. Now, you talk about some heavy sons of bitches. And then, what's my kid do? He goes, here, Dad. Hands me this box, and I open it up. Look, it's every issue of National Geographic on CD. Just stick them in the computer. And it weighs about 1.5 pounds.
Punch him in his mouth.
Every one of those National Geographics put together weigh about 350 pounds. It's a lot easier moving that little case, you know.
Yeah, but they had the natives with naked breasts on the CD.
Well, yeah.
Teenage porn? Is that what you're saying?
Right?
Yeah.
No,
Heck, there was even a couple of Mutual of Omahas that had them.
Yeah, that was preteen porn there. The bra section in the Sears catalog.
Oh, I tell you what, the Sears catalog. Oh my God. The bra section wasn't too bad, but oh my God, those older ones where everything they sold were bloomers, you know? It's just like, what the hell?
Granny
They
panties.
got pictures of my grandma in here, you know? Yeah, that freaked me out. I couldn't enjoy pictures when my grandma was there.
Yep. Oh, granny panties.
You got to be more open-minded, Sty.
I got to be more open-minded. Yeah.
Looks like a big hair bomb went off behind it.
Listen to Granny laughing up there.
Yeah, we're going to be shutting down in about 15 minutes here.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna shut her down right at, well, it'd be 9:30 Central Time here tonight. Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. I can remember back in the 60s, some of them women were wearing pants and the waistband was just right underneath their boobs, you know. And it was like, what in the hell for?
Yeah.
What the hell?
So someone tell me what the fad is with the young men in suits that have floods. I'm seeing these pants legs that are above the ankles. I think it's just so they can show off their funny socks.
Well, and that's it too. They're funky ass socks.
They're not wearing just like your standard black sock. They're wearing these funky socks, but these things are hemmed up to where you can see, like, you know, above the ball of their ankle. And I'm like, come on, man, really?
How watering style now?
Is this going to be a thing?
God,
Good night, Freeman James.
Good night, Freeman James.
During my career, I was in suits all the time. I typically wore a suit to work on a daily basis, and I had to travel to DC all the time. So I had a lot of business associations that were pretty high end, so I had to wear decent suits. So my suits had to be tailor made. They were tailor made so that if I sat and I crossed my legs, it just came up over the ball of your ankle with your legs crossed. Just barely came up over the ball of your ankle. You stand up and it's a half inch from the floor. And I see these guys, they sit down, they cross their legs, and holy Christ, looks like they're wearing them capris, yeah. What in the hell? Since when do suits come with capris? I mean, and then these freaky ass socks they're wearing, and you look at their socks, they cross their legs now, and you see that big ugly sock they're wearing, and the tie they're wearing clashes with their fucking sock. I mean, don't go there. Don't do that shit. But no, that's that. Yeah, I guess that's the trend. I'm so glad I'm out of that shit now.
I can remember the ugly ties. I can remember when I got out of the military. I got out in 91. By about 94, 93, 94, when I got into the whole hot tub business and everything, fireplaces and all that, and we had to wear suits. And they talked about the power tie, right?
Uh-huh.
It would have a floral print, or it would. Bottom line is, it just didn't look right. And it's like, but that was the thing back in the day, the power tie. It's like, ugh. I look at some of those things I got in an old bin in my, and I don't know why I haven't thrown them out. I look at some of how ugly some of that stuff is. Like, oh my Lord. Can't believe it. I still got dress pants I can't even fit into, that the bottom of my dress pants have cuffs sewn in. So some ugly stuff. Well, corduroy pantsuits. Remember when you had the corduroy jackets with the patches on the elbows?
Oh, hey, wait a minute, Phil. Wait a minute. When my ex-wife and I got married, it was her and I and my mother and father-in-law in a car on a road trip to South Dakota, because the state of Minnesota wouldn't let me marry her. She was too young. So, so South Dakota said, no problem. So we drove to South Dakota, got married, drove back, spent one night in a motel room. Well, that's all they would let us stay. They said we were too noisy all night. But but 8 years later, she starts with the, you never did give me a proper wedding. You never, I really wanted that special wedding and on and on. So I told her, well, it's a little late to bring that shit up. And she says, well, we can renew the vows. And I'm going, oh shit, you mean I get a second chance to say I don't? I mean, oh, so I was in for it, I thought, oh, here's my chance, Well, so yeah, several $1,000s later, we had this renewal of the vows. Well, she insisted she's going to pick out my suit. Well, just the boots, the cowboy boots, cost $385. The fucking Stetson that she insisted that I have, that was almost $200. The suit was a tailored frickin' deerskin colored corduroy suit, Western cut corduroy suit. I hated that son of a bitch. Oh, I told her, I said, you make me buy this ugly frickin' suit, and then have me give you over $2,000 to have a custom dress made for you. I would have rather shown up in my bloomers than wear that frickin' suit. That church was so frickin' hot, and I'm wearing corduroy, and everywhere I'm walking, whoosh, 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 whoosh. Oh, frick, I hated corduroy. My mother bought me one pair when I was a kid, and I went to school, and I come home with this paper bag, and she didn't realize until she looked in the paper bag that I wasn't wearing those corduroys. I went to the nurse's office and I said, "You keep clothes here for kids that piss themselves and stuff like that, you know. Would you have a pair of pants that would fit me that's not corduroy?" And the nurse was so understanding. She goes, "Oh, I understand." And she says, "You can look." And sure enough, I found a pair of pants that fit me. And I took them corduroys home in a paper bag. I told her, I said, "Ma, I ain't never wearing them things ever again." And she never made me after that. But my ex-wife talked me into a suit made of that shit. That's just like when they even had couches that were corduroy.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And you sit on them fuckers in shorts, and you get up and you got all these bars down your legs, you know. You remember them damn plastic furniture covers they had that had the little bumps in them, and they look like those things you could pop, that you can pop those.
Oh, bubble wrap.
Yeah, bubble wrap. They look like bubble wrap, but they're not. They're just a bump. I'd sit there as a kid just trying to pop one of them damn things, and my aunt covered all of her furniture with that shit, and it was just like, how can you sit on this crap?
Because they can't use the napkin.
If it was hot, if she didn't have the air conditioner running, you stuck to that bitch and you ain't getting off. I mean, if she had the air conditioner running, that stuff is not freezer wrap. I mean, yeah, you get up and you got freeze dried butt. There's nothing right about that plastic cover.
Well, there is if you're a squirter.
Oh.
Oh God. No. That's why you put the plastic runners down on the carpet. Stay off the furniture if you're a squirter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Is that when you play Twister? With a squirter?
Yeah, Michelle, that's right.
Ugh.
That plastic stuff was nasty. My aunt had these runners in her house, and it looked like there should be a map for them, because they go from one room to the other, and when you get into the next room, there'd be these little lanes that would shoot off and go in front of certain pieces of furniture. She made sure that you had access to anything in the house you needed without ever walking on the frickin' carpet. Well, now, what in the hell is the sense of having carpet if you're never going to ever use the shit?
Right?
And then she'd make you take your damn shoes off at the door, and she'd make you hold your feet up, and she'd inspect your socks to see just how clean your socks were. Well, I should be able to walk in here with dog shit on my feet because you never let us on the carpet. And you can wash that dog shit off that plastic runner. I mean, what do you care? It was terrible. It was terrible. My uncle was an executive at the Detroit airport, and it was high-end executive, and he owned a fully restored Spitfire airplane. Never got to fly the fucking thing. His wife, my aunt, would not let him fly that airplane. And the only reason he even had a domestic flying license was because he was in the Air Force. And if you're in the Air Force at that time, all you had to do is request to qualify for a domestic pilot's license. And they'd put you through the gamut, put you through the training, and give you your license. So he had a license to fly, but he owned at that time it cost him $185,000 to buy that airplane, and it needed $80,000 worth of restoration. He wasn't allowed to fly it. So he'd have these guys, these mechanics and these pilots at the airport take it up for all of its, because you got to have so many hours on them for certification, on blah, blah, blah. And he'd get to watch other people take off his airplane. Well, when my aunt passed away, he comes out to visit me out in Montana. We were living in Montana at the time. He come all the way out from Detroit, and he says, "Oh, I sold all of her shit." He says, "Finally sold all of her shit." He says, "Boy, did I get a bunch of money for her antiques and shit." And I said, "Wow, boy, she's rolling in her grave." He says, "Oh, you bet she is. She's trying to dig her ass out." He says, "I bought a fucking airplane." I go, "You what?" He says, "Yeah, she made me give up the Spitfire." He says, "I bought myself a really sweet little private plane." And he says, "I've only flown it once so far, but," he says, "I really love it." And I go, "Do you miss her?" He goes, "Sometimes." He said, "Sometimes it feels good to bitch about something." He says, "And I haven't had a reason yet since she's been gone." And he says, "I kind of miss it." I said, "Holy God, weren't those two in love?" I mean,
Oh Lord.
yeah. No, it was no. Oh, she's gone. And I asked him too. I said, "Do you still have all that plastic runners in your damn house and the plastic on the furniture?" He says, "Hell no." He says, "I rolled that shit up before the funeral." He said, "I didn't want people coming to the house after the funeral and have to wander around on that stuff." And he said, "But he said, it's been down there for so many years. The carpet under those runners looks really nice, but wherever the runners weren't," he said, "just from the sun hitting it and shit like that," he says, "it's discolored the carpet." So, okay. Fun life, eh?
Yeah, my mom, when I was a kid, had runners in the front door, down the hall, and into the living room. So that the heavy traffic areas, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom. Yep. So,
Well, that's me. I got throw rugs. I got one. You come in the door, there's throw rug. Then there's another throw rug. Then there's a throw rug that shoes go on. I got one in front of the table where I'm standing all the time, where I'm always, that's where I stand all the time. And I got my rugs in the crapper, and yeah, high volume standing or walking areas. That's it.
yeah, see, we don't put any rugs in the crapper because then that gets, urine or anything else on that holds all that stuff. Because you get spray. You don't always pee in the 100% of it.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have one of them around the stool.
Oh, yeah.
Things. I only got the one in front of the tub.
Remember when you had those around the toilet, and then you had
stinky bastards.
You had the carpeted lid, the lid of the toilet seat.
Oh, that too.
Carpeted fuzzy thing.
Why? See.
So hold so many.
I've talked about it before. When it comes to my bathroom, you should be able to do open heart surgery in that son of a bitch, as far as I'm concerned. I want that bathroom cleaner than my fucking kitchen.
Mm.
And that rug in front of my tub, that gets run through the laundry once a week.
No.
And it's just me in the house, but that son of a bitch goes in the laundry once a week. But it gets picked up 3 times a week when I mop that damn floor corner to corner, scrubbed up. And the crapper, yeah, that's almost daily. The crapper gets completely wiped down, washed. And
some dumb bastard that owned my house before I bought it, carpet throughout the basement, including in the bathroom.
Oh,
carpet
in
the bathroom. I've
seen carpeted kitchens too.
Oh, why would you ever do that?
There ain't a brain cell involved in doing something like that. Because carpet in the basement, instant mold, instant stink, nasty. You better You know, I had a basement where I had the home theater and an office, and those two rooms were carpeted in the basement. But each room had a big, I mean, a huge dehumidifier in that room to keep it dry in there constantly. No way could I let moisture get in there. But these people that have carpeting in their kitchens, it's like, what the F would I could never. Carpeting would last a week in my kitchen with the shit I drop on the floor, and I mop my kitchen floor almost every day because I'm always spilling shit. You know,
Especially if
it's
you
like,
Dan's yelling penis something.
oh yeah, and I didn't hear it. It didn't give me a noisy one. Okay, that's 15 minutes from now, right?
Yeah, I'm looking, so I will let you know.
So okay, yep. Well, what we're gonna do, guys, is, and I hope you'll all stick with me. We're gonna hang out here, and I'm not gonna announce really who it is. We're waiting to see that it happens, but somebody wants to go live in about 15 minutes. And I want to send everybody over there. You know, I want to be able to raid this person, and so if you can stick with me for another 15 minutes, that'd be awesome. That'd be absolutely awesome. And you yeah, when you find out what's going on, you'll go, oh yeah, okay, yeah. The heck, way too son, sweet. I love raids.
80 scrapping.
Hey, Candy, good to see ya. Yeah, we'll be putting the link out once the link's available.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard, yeah.
It's not Ron Jeremy, is it?
The house I
Maryland
grew,
Chambers.
yeah. The house I grew up in, Richard, we had a very small living room and an average sized dining room. Those two rooms were carpeted. The rest of the house, no sir. They were either wood floors or else tiled. That's my dad was one where you don't track any shit in on the carpet in the living room and dining room. You're a moron. I'll cut your legs off at the knees. But the rest of the house, you expected them floors to get nasty. And there's no way in hell we're getting carpeting in our kids' bedrooms because my dad said, yeah. He says, we ever move out of this house, whoever buys the house is going to want to put carpet over all the crap you got on the floor in your bedroom. Yeah.
Did
Who
you
is
grow up?
listening to something in here now?
What?
I hear a lady talking, yapping. Who is listening to something?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Roman?
Sty, did you just grow up in one house? Did you grow up in one house your whole life growing up?
No, 3. In my growing up years, 3 houses. Our family started out in a partial house. These people were building. My dad was the town constable at the time. They didn't have a police department. They just had town constable. And he lived outside of the city limits before I was born. They lived outside the city limits. And the city said, you got to live within the city limits. So he couldn't find a place. There wasn't a single house for sale. They couldn't find a place for sale. Well, this guy was building a new house, and he had put the whole basement in, and he had capped the basement. They were just getting ready to put the house up, and the guy died. And so the project went away. They never delivered the materials for the house. They just left the capped basement sitting there. Well, my dad bought that. We moved into that, and we called it the basement house. And we lived in there until I was almost 5 years old. Then we moved into a big Victorian 2.5-story freaking mansion. And then the city forced us out of that house through eminent domain so they could build a shopping center where there were 3 big homes like that, and they forced sale on us under eminent domain and put in a stupid shopping center that the shopping center went bankrupt within about 5 years. I mean, so yeah, we could have kept our house. Then we moved into the last house we lived in until I moved away. Yeah. But the last house we lived in, we moved in there when I was about 6, and I had, all the way up until I was 18, lived in there. Our last home was a nice home, though. That place, you had the main house, and then we had 2 awesome cottages on the property, and the property was covered with massive oaks and elm trees. The yard was to die for. Fruit trees and flower gardens all over the damn place. Yeah, it was small town USA kind of freaking place. But we had 2.5 acres in town. After my dad passed away, we sold a full acre to the city, and they put in a full league size hockey rink, and that was the terms. Our family gets access to that hockey rink, unlimited access except during games. So anytime they're not having games, access. Well, the city charged for you to go skate on that rink, not us. And it's right in our backyard.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that rain dancer. That is, I mean, eminent domain to tear down people's homes to put something else up.
Yeah, we moved from shithole to shithole for 16 years. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't until I bought this house. So I've been here 20 years. So it wasn't my thing for my kids was like, I'm not moving. I'm making sure my kids can grow up in one place, know all their friends their whole life, and I mean, not have to do what I had to do as a military brat and deal with that crap. So I did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, way too son. I know what you're talking about there. Yeah. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. That home that they took from us under eminent domain was beautiful. We had almost 5 acres. We're in town. We had 5 acres. The house was set back 125 yards from the highway out front, the street. And right across from our place was the A&W. But we had this big, huge, beautiful lawn with this big, huge Victorian house sitting on the hill. And behind it, it went down again. It went uphill to the house, then it went downhill again, right down to there was a big swamp, but there was lake access on one half of our property, right out onto the lake. And they wanted a Red Owl store instead. That closed up 5 years later. I mean, yeah, piss you off.
What's up, 2Q? To 14 schools in 8 years. Holy shit.
Yeah, ain't that a bummer, eh?
I was lucky. I was born in Las Vegas, Nevada, on an Air Force base. We moved to Michigan. We stayed with my grandparents for a short period of time. We went to an apartment. We went to a house. And then we wound up in this place in Clarkson. By the time I was in kindergarten. So we must have stayed at all these places a very short period of time. I don't recollect a lot of them, but I recollect them. And by age 5, I can remember the house that my folks were in now or were in. I can remember going to kindergarten in that school. So once I hit that age, we were in the same place until I left and didn't go back. So, so that's good, stable,
and not a lot of people actually get that anymore.
Oh no.
People move so much now that I really did appreciate the fact that I grew up in that town and stayed put.
Well, I could tell you people that I know that their house becomes like a status. So they move into a certain neighborhood with a certain priced house and everything else. And it's all based on what they made this year on their income, right? So they've stretched themselves to the absolute limit so they can have a status house or in a status neighborhood.
Right.
And as soon as their pay takes a 10 or 15% dip, which in my profession does a hell of a lot, then suddenly they're moving again.
That's right. Yep.
So
and that's it. It's people follow the money now, and the stability of staying put in one place goes out the window with it. Okay, guys. Samantha is going live in 3 minutes. Samantha, she's going to be singing her original songs and yeah. So what a way to wrap up the night, but to go hang out with Samantha. She would love to have us all over there, listen to some music. And if you could, if you could, please do. And do you have her link?
Yeah, I'm putting it in right now.
We've been trying to work this out for Sam to go live and timing and everything in the background. So there's the link. So, hey, let's head to Samantha's and scream and shout Sty Raid and I'm being too nice. Hey, I love listening to Sam. So, and I don't want to leave my own stream and leave you guys here and not tell you that she's live. Wouldn't that be a son of a bitch? I leave you guys here and say, I'll be back in a while. And then I go over and watch her for an hour or so and come back and go, oh, you guys are still here. Oh, shit. I was over at Samantha's. So, guys, let's head to Samantha's. The next time you'll see me is Thursday around the campfire. And I'm going to exit with that, and I'll see you guys over at Samantha's. Love you all. It's been wonderful. Panel. Roman, thanks for being here, and thanks for becoming a member, pal. That is awesome. Love you all. We'll see you over at Sam's, or I'll see you Thursday night. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, man.